Here's the rule of thumb. This is what we're offering. Anytime you know for sure that your frame of mind about a subject is not where you want it to be. In other words, when you know that you're more negatively oriented right now about this than positively oriented, that's really the time to be as general about it as you can. When you know that you're positive about it, that's the time to be as specific as you can, because general slows the momentum down and specific speeds the momentum up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So continue with what you're reaching for.
I'm reaching for the words to say, to become general about abundance in general. It doesn't need to be abundant of anything in particular, but just good health and well-being.
In order to prime this pump a little bit, let's take the flip side of it. Let's think in terms of shortage consciousness. So shortage consciousness goes like this. Let's take the abundance subject first. People who have shortage consciousness relative to abundance have this flawed premise. They think that there's a finite pile of resources that are somehow being divided among you, and usually they think unfairly divided among you. They don't understand that the resources are exponentially expanding because of desire. They don't understand that resources are about thoughts that have turned to resources. Think about your economy today and how no stuff's being trucked in. In other words, it's not being piped in from other planets. It's becoming resources as thoughts and ideas are turning to those resources. You are agreeing with that? So shortage consciousness about money is about, lack consciousness about money is about a misunderstanding of how there's a never-ending flow of all of it. And so when you feel the absurdity of that, it can make you feel more optimistic about it. But then you've got to put yourself in sync with the optimism that you found, which means you have to find ways of feeling good about that. And it is simply the process of speaking it and see how it feels, and speaking it and see how it feels. So let's say that the subject that you are working on is the subject of feeling more financially prosperous. And let's say that the current reality that you are living doesn't really support that to the degree that you would like to, that you feel limitations relative to your financial situation. And so if you are looking precisely at how much money you have, what your asset to liability relationship is, if you're looking at your income increase, in other words, if you are looking at reality and coming up with answers that you don't want to come up with, then those specific thoughts are holding you in a place you don't want to be, and even taking you further into a place that you don't want to be. So you know that's not the right approach. So by getting general about it, we mean statements like this, kind of an uncondition of it. The bank and the money in it is a condition. The way you feel is an uncondition. Negative or positive is an uncondition. Focusing on something that is finite is more of a condition. Humans have been talking about unconditional love for a long time, not realizing what it means. And we're talking about unconditional love, unconditional alignment, unconditional clarity, unconditional prosperity. We're talking about taking the reality that has you all balled up and in a disallowing mode out of the equation, which once you stop blocking the flow will come. Once you stop holding the cork under the water, the cork will float again. And so general statements such as, I like the subject of economics. I like the subject of economics. I like the idea of in and out. I like dollars flowing to me and through me to someone else. I like the flow of dollars. I like knowing that there is no waste, that I can't waste money because when I spend it, someone feeds their kids. I like knowing that I don't waste money because when I spend it, it's economics that someone else benefits from. I like dollars flowing through me. I like them flowing in, and I like them flowing out. Just like breathing, I can feel the well-being of that. Now, were we general enough with those statements that it didn't bump up against anything that bothered you?
Yes.
I like the idea of prosperity. I like the feeling of prosperity. I like excellence. I like what money can do. I like when economics are focused in a particular area. I like the renewal of a city. I like the renewal of a neighborhood. I like the refurbishing of my own basement. I like the renewal of my own transportation. I like renewal. I like resourcing. I like flowing. I like abundance. I like understanding the never-endedness of abundance. So these are really general statements that you're not tripping over in any way, because we didn't say anything that is problematic to you. You do like abundance. I like knowing that there is no waste. Now this is an important one for you to rest on just for a moment. I like knowing that when I spend money, I'm contributing in a positive way. I like money flowing through me. I like the balance of money flowing through me. In and out, not out, 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 in, out, 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 in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Not even in, out. That doesn't feel good either, does it? Not in, can I, please, can I, please. No, in and out, because the more you understand the in and outness of it, the more you understand that in the same way that the idea will flow to you, there's no shortage of ideas. There's just receptive mode and not receptive mode. So if you're not in the receptive mode, then you're saying, no ideas here. We say, yes, they're all around. They're being transmitted to you. You're just not receiving them because you're not in the receptive mode. You say, well, give me an idea and I'll be in the receptive mode. Get in the receptive mode and then the idea will flow. Just like, well, give me the money and then I'll feel prosperous. Feel prosperous and then the money will flow. You've got to find the mindset. You've got to find the vibrational stance. You've got to find the emotional stance in order to allow it to flow. And you can tell when you do. So whether it's clarity shortage or money shortage, doesn't matter what the shortage is. In every case, the shortage is caused by you, and don't be hard on yourself, by the beliefs you've picked up along your physical trail. Well, it's logical that if you're in an environment where people are worried about money, where they're telling you that you're wasteful, where they're conveying to you that if you utilize that resource or whatever it is, that you are squandering it or wasting it, because humans are accustomed to looking at things in a finite way. And yet it's so interesting to watch your weather patterns and the way you create your floods and droughts, because the water is proportionate to your desires and needs, but it flows sporadically because of your blocking it off and not allowing it to. And the abundance of dollars and the abundance of clarity, the abundance of ideas are the same. It's an individual thing, much more than you know, but you don't see yourselves as individual because you are so aware as you are looking out into the population of your world of what others are doing. We're just asking you to try a little bit, to think thoughts that feel better to you when you think them, and watch what happens to the prosperity that you begin to allow into your own experience. There will always be those who have practiced shortage consciousness long enough that they are sure that you are their problem, but you are not. And as long as you let them think that you are their problem, they will not find a solution, because you are not their problem.
So the words that you say about abundance in all those categories will help, putting a general feel on it.
Well, use your own logic about it also. In other words, this is really self-talk. This is really self-convincing. This is really talking yourself into your own blessings.
Right.
That's the thing that is so interesting to us, is that the wherewithal for everything that you want is right there for you for the taking. Just like ripe fruit on a tree, right there for you. But sometimes, as individuals or as mass consciousness, you get fixated on something that blocks you off from it, and then you demand that it is not there. That would be like saying to your dog, who clearly can hear something you can't hear, stop it. You're faking that. I know for sure you can't hear that because I can't. So stop it. And every time he acts like he's hearing something, you just slap him again. After a while, he'll stop letting you know he hears. He'll hear, but he won't let you know. Same with his ability to smell. He can smell stuff you can't smell. stuff you don't want to smell sometimes. He can, but you don't deny that he can smell. You say, you have a different smelling receptive mode than I do. And what we're wanting to say to you all in a loving, in a obnoxious way, we want you to get into more of the receptive mode and allow yourself to be the receiver of so much of the abundance that is there for you, whether it's physical well-being or financial well-being or intellectual well-being, just being in the right place at the right time. You didn't come to solve problems. You came to experience the exhilaration of flowing toward what you want. And so these conversations are not about digging you out of a hole. These conversations are about you getting to be all that you came here to be, because that life-giving, exhilarating feeling of pure desire that's not held back by beliefs that are hindering it is the most delicious state of being in the world.